Ladies and gentlemen, we are live for a post-race analysis live stream of the channel following the Pennzoil 400 at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway today. We did live commentary of the race. We also had a live stream predictions video before the start of the race. Now it's time to talk about the race that was the Pennzoil 400 at Las Vegas. It was a crazy race, to say the least. I don't know what I was expecting going in, other than I was expecting a show with the next-gen car once again. And the next-gen car, I don't think, disappointed again. It was a crazy race, similar to last week with the amount of cautions we had, the crazy restarts throughout the course of it, but it's insane that these races have been coming down to the wire like they have so far. Somewhat unpredictable ways, I guess you would say. Predictable but unpredictable at the same time. We've had 2 overtime finishes now this season. This was the second of which, and in all 3 races we have seen a restart with 4 or less laps to go. Late drama, of course. I don't even know what to talk about first here. I guess we'll talk about the end of the race first. Strategy. We had strategy between the Hendrick team and the rest of the field. The Hendrick teams of Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman, William Byron. Under that last pit stop, they came out with 3 laps to go. They decided to go right side tires only. Right side tires only for those guys. Everybody else took 4. Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., they were leading. They were about 4 seconds ahead when the caution waved. They ended up having to restart, I believe, 4th and 6th. And unfortunately, they were not able to get really back to the lead. Alex Bowman and Kyle Larson, they were on the front row. They were side by side pretty much the entire final 2 laps of the race in overtime, which was not allowing Busch or anybody on fresh tires to really get up there. Busch was also tied down from Byron, who was still side by side with him, trying to side draft him, and probably hope that one of those 200 cars in front of him were going to get to victory lane. So Byron did a great job playing teammate there, because you can definitely tell he was racing the heck out of Kyle Busch late in the going. But yeah, there we go. Please, how can it lost place? Last place? I'm not sure exactly what you meant by that. But yeah, anyway, it was between Larson, Bowman, Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman. They were side by side pretty much the final 2 laps. Larson pinched Bowman quite a bit in turns 3 and 4 in the final lap. And quite honestly, as tight as he was on him, it was either Bowman was going to try to hold the corner as fast as he went in, and he was going to potentially run up into the side of the 5, and they were going to wreck off of turn 4, or he was going to have to lift, and the 5 of Larson was going to end up just pulling away off 4 and winning himself. But no, the 48 not only stuck the corner, but I think Larson might have actually went up the track tight, and he didn't hold the corner. And it was Alex Bowman clearing him off turn 4, getting his first win of the young season. Bowman did go on to win stage 1 as well, so he gets 6 playoff points to his credit today. And great job for Alex Bowman and that 48 team. They had a very roller coaster event of a day. He had a fast car. I don't think he had the fastest car in the field today, but I don't really know who had the fastest car. Ross Chastain in stage 2 and early in the final stage looked like he had the fastest car, but then that final, that long green flag run towards the end of the race before the last caution came out with 3 to go, he was kind of back to 3rd, battling for 3rd with Bowman for 4th. Bowman looked a little faster than him at that point in the run with how much he ran him down. So I'd say at the end of the race, car-wise, Bowman probably had a top 3 car at least. And I wasn't really looking at his lap times close enough to Truex and Busch because of how much further ahead they were. It was going to take a caution to get him back into it anyway, and of course that's what ended up, lo and behold, happening. Yeah, Kyle Larson tried to pinch Bowman down, didn't work. Alex Bowman goes on to win. Thanks for everybody tuning in here. Billy Kramer, Tristan Heidencamp, Mike Morgan, R6, Patricia Toms, Ashton G. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Down by 20, you can win. In football, yeah, that's true. Never count anybody out of it until that checkered flag flies. Unless they're, out of the race in general. But if they're still in it, you got a shot. Especially if you're on the lead lap. Originally thought Larson lifted off 4 to let Bowman win. Well, I think he did that to keep from wrecking. It's possible that could have happened. He either lost it in the middle of the corner and pushed, and that's what caused him to lift, or he just realized, listen, we're not going to make it through this corner if I pinch him down like this. You know, assuming either Bowman was going to have to lift in that predicament, or it was going to be Larson, or they were both going to wreck. So, you know, if Larson did lift for that reason, smart play, because they were not going to make it through that corner if they both would have went in as flat as they did, and both as low as they were. Looked like he couldn't stick the corner. Yeah, he just couldn't stick it. I mean, remember, these guys had 40-lap old left side tires. So, you know, the grip was lacking as it was throughout the race today, as we mentioned that it was probably going to be the case going in. But even on that, you know, final corner, you got those old left side tires, even though you got fresh right side tires, you're going to be lacking that mechanical grip. Fun race to watch from the car cameras. I'm sure there was probably a lot of action there as well. Fun race to commentate. We broke a stream record today, over 400 people watching at the end of that race, so that was awesome. Appreciate anybody that was coming out, and any new subscribers from the channel, everybody that hit the like button. We had, at the time of me signing off, 133 likes on the stream. That's probably got to be a stream record too, if I had to imagine. So appreciate the support from all you guys today. We'll go through the finishing results of this race, and we'll pretty much kind of talk about minor parts throughout the course of the race from then on through this live stream, kind of whatever you guys, I guess, bring up in the chat. This is new. We don't usually live stream the post-race analysis videos, so especially right after the race is over. All right, let's see here. Alrighty. Get my camera over here to the side. And we'll go through those finishing results. Alex Bowman again with the win. Margin of victory was 0.178 tenths of a second over Kyle Larson. Ross Chastain ended up finishing in third by just 7 one-thousandths of a second over Kyle Busch, who finished fourth. William Byron ends up rounding out the top five, less than half a second off the lead as well. Eric Almirola, the only driver in NASCAR to have 2 top 10 finishes through the first 2 races, finishes sixth again today. He ran outside the top 10 all day. He really only got there because of the final restart, but credit to where credit's due. Eric Almirola finished sixth. Tyler Reddick finishes 7th. More on him in a little bit. Martin Truex Jr. finished in 8th. Chase Elliott was 9th, and Christopher Bell rounded out the top 10. Those are your top finishers in today's race. Again, the stage winners, Ross Chastain won stage 2. Alex Bowman won stage number 1. So, the fallout from that, it looks like we had 23 cars finish on the lead lap today, and we would have had 7 drivers DNF in today's race as well. 12 cautions total. Same amount we had at Auto Club. Average speed 116.55 miles an hour on today's race. So we'll go back now. We'll get the camera back on here. I'm struggling. I got so many tabs open on OBS. All right, there we go. I got to get the chat back up. I lost the chat on my phone. Yeah, we'll check fantasy out here in a little bit, how my team did and who ended up having the top scoring points this week. Obviously, post-race inspection still has to come about. Watching from Truex Jr.'s camera there at the end. Yeah, that must have been a really good battle then. Especially with him in second behind Busch that whole time. Anything else throughout the course of the race you guys want me to talk about before we move on to fantasy? I don't want to just rush through this post-race analysis video. There were cautions sporadically, obviously, throughout the course of it. Busch himself was in a spin there late. He was one of the heavy contenders towards the end. NASCAR must fix the tire issue. Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for NASCAR to figure out, and something to do with that. I think that's going to be honestly more on Goodyear trying to maybe put a more durable tire that they could maybe have an inner liner like they did in years past. The current tire they have now, that's not the case, so it's a lot easier to flat spot them in a spin. And if you flat spot them, it's down to the rim basically because there's no inner liner. So it's harder to limp it all the way back to pit road. I was hoping for some post-race analysis videos or interviews potentially, but I don't think I need to turn on Fox Sports 1, see if they've got anything post-race on the show right now. I'm not even sure if they do. Let me know down in the comment section if Fox Sports 1 has Race Hub on or something. Inside Uranus, welcome to the stream. Jacob Gibbons, welcome. Competition caution, screwed over Bell. Yeah, I definitely screwed him over early. I don't even know why there was what the need was for the competition caution. I understand competition caution when there was no practice or qualifying because teams didn't get to practice what they had at the track. I get that. But typically, in races that have practice and qualifying, and there's no like inclement weather that forces like the race to be postponed an extra day or something of that nature where all the rubber gets lost on the racetrack, there's no competition caution. But there was one today that I didn't even know was going to happen until it actually happened. And, yeah, I was a bit upset about that. I expressed that during the race. It screwed him over at the time. It was so early in the race, though. He did get back up to second place, and then he overdrove the car and ended up having a spin of his own and causing some flats. And he had enough damage probably in the underbody of the car because he never really got back inside the top 10 after that. His car did not look the same after that spin. No way to put the tire inner liner without changing a ton of things. Yeah, I mean, it's more than just the tire itself, yes, because as it is right now, man, they definitely have it. It does seem like it's going to be more of an off-season thing, and they're going to kind of have to deal with the consequences of this happening this year. Now, I will say on short tracks, because you don't have to go as far around the track to get the car to pit road, I don't think it's going to be as big of an issue as like Martinsville, Bristol, and whatnot. But at these intermediate tracks, that's where, in the super speedways, that's where the issue is. Because if you spin off of turn 2, you're over a half a mile away from you're about a mile or so away from pit road entrance for the pace truck to try and, or the work truck to push you back into the pits. Talk about the shifter issues with Hamlin. Yeah, Denny Hamlin had a great day. He was in second place early on in the race. I think he was second at the end of stage 1. I know he was second during stage 2. He ended up having to go to the back. His crew had a bad pit stop where they dropped the jack on the air hose on the front tire changer, so they had to go back around to the right side to jack it back up again. He lost a bunch of spots. He fell outside. I think he fell back to 20th. He worked his way back up into the top 10. He was in 6th place. Got to the green flag pit stops. Was working his way off of pit road. He was on the apron in turns 1 and 2, and he just spun. And in the spin, he had stated that he had accidentally downshifted. I'm not sure exactly. He said in his post-race interview he had a transaxle issue. I think the transaxle issue, for his sake, was because he accidentally downshifted. I don't think it just downshifted on its own. And I think it's just with this new gearbox and with the new shifter, these drivers are not used to it. And when you're put in a pressure situation like that, final pit stop of the day, you're coming out of the pits. I mentioned during the broadcast that it was only the second time we have seen green flag pit stops since the Daytona 500, or that's including the Daytona 500. We saw him in the first stage of the 500. Vegas is a much different racetrack, obviously, than Daytona. So that's going to be a growing pain as well. And put in a pressure situation like that, probably just lost his train of thought, was focused on, just trying to get up to speed as quick as possible. Nothing happened on Fox Sports. Yeah, I didn't see anything either. I'm just going to turn my TV off then for this the show of whatever is playing right now. Turn off. I don't want to see you anymore. There we go. There we go. Now I can hear myself think. I was hearing it play in my ear, too, the whole time. Dark Crypto, welcome. Didn't even watch the race live, LOL, but I saw the finish. Yeah, it was a good race. I thought it was a good race. I think Auto Club is a bit better. Just a bit. Maybe because I was there in person, it enhanced it. I want to say the Daytona 500 is probably the best race so far this season. Again, I was there in person, so that's probably going to enhance it a bit more. I'd say the 500 is a little bit better. But to go back on that Denny Hamlin situation, though, again, I think he made the mistake of accidentally downshifting, which caused the transaxle issue. I don't think it was so much, it happened kind of like when you... Let's go back to the Clash, when Tyler Reddick had the same issue as the transaxle issue. They were under caution when he had the issue. He was shifting under caution, especially on a short track like that, a quarter mile. He was probably having to shift under the caution flag in the corners. And he didn't, he missed the shift essentially, or he downshifted by accident. And that's what caused the transaxle break. So I think it was all on Hamlin. I don't think it's got anything to do with the car malfunctioning itself without driver error. Jesus Manuel Ortiz, happy for Alex Bowman winning. Thought KFB was going to win until that caution. I wouldn't say he had it won because Truex is right there with him. But it was definitely between those two, which is unfortunate. But, hey, that's racing. I mean, it was a natural yellow. Jones hit the wall pretty hard. I actually thought that NASCAR was late on the caution. It's like they didn't want to throw the yellow. They wanted to see Busch and Truex race it out. And then they had to throw the yellow because Jones overcorrected it in the grass, and then he was back across the racetrack, and Wallace had to miss him. If they would have thrown the caution immediately after Jones hit the wall, like they would probably 9 times out of 10, they would have thrown the caution immediately when that happened. If they would have thrown the caution immediately, Bubba Wallace would not have wrecked. He would not have had to steer clear of the 43 of Jones because they would have already been slowing down. He would have had plenty of time to miss him. Instead, he was probably on the gas 180, 100. I mean, we were seeing speeds. I think the fastest I saw going into turn 1 in the draft today was 194 miles an hour. So he was probably close to 190 miles an hour 3/4 of the way down the front stretch. And he had to steer clear. So that's why when he made that hard left, it just turned him straight into the wall. When you're going those speeds with those downforce, he had no other choice. It's unfortunate for him. Thought there was going to be another Auto Club 2013 Bowman and Larson. Gonna crash and let somebody else win. Yeah, I mean, the way Larson pinched Bowman in turns 1 and 2, turns 3 and 4 as low as they were, that could have happened. That definitely could have happened. It didn't, but it could have happened. Santiago Kid, see you in the chat as well. Cerebral Assassin, welcome. Thought the tire was fine today. No one got beat. Yeah, nobody stalled out because of the tire. But they still lost a couple laps. At least, I mean, you're probably going to lose 1 lap no matter what. It wasn't as egregious as Auto Club, I will say. They were a lot quicker on the response trying to get to those guys that had flat spotted their tires today. Larson almost winning 2 times in a row. Very, very close. He was my pick to win today, too. And gosh darn it almost happened. I'm 0 for 3 now. On the week-by-week race predictions. Alright, we got a couple more things still to do. Bell only lost 1 lap. Yeah, Bell lost 1 lap. I think Keselowski lost 2. when he spun. Granted, he did have damage from Blaney as well, though. I'm not sure about Briscoe or Cindric, how many laps they lost. Custer lost 1 lap. Yeah, it definitely was not as bad of an issue today because they didn't stall out. That was the big thing. They were able to keep their cars moving. All right, on to the prediction analysis of the post-race analysis video. Gonna go through the predictions I had pre-race for drivers. Well, my predictions pre-race, I guess. See how that all stacked up and then where I sit on the year. We'll start off with the must-haves. I did not do good. I went 1 for 3 on the must-have picks. Kyle Larson was my win prediction. He was obviously a must-have. He ran top 10 all day. Stage points at both stages. Finished second. Had a shot to win late. Came back from pit road speeding penalty to get up to 6th even before that final caution. So he was definitely fast. Kyle Larson did a great job. That puts me at 3-3 on the year. But unfortunately with the must-have predictions, I lose the last 2. I had Ryan Blaney, who unfortunately was taken out in an incident that was nothing of his own doing. He was in the top 10. He finished 7th at the end of stage 1. I think he was running 9th at the time of him getting involved in the accident. Keselowski had spun while running the bottom lane in front of him. Blaney was on the outside, so when Keselowski backed it up the racetrack after spinning, he backed it right into Ryan Blaney. Blaney T-boned him in the driver's side door, and unfortunately, Blaney's day came to an end after that. Finished 170 laps down at 36th. Unfortunately, that was the early going of stage 2 when that happened. So that's unfortunate that Ryan Blaney had that happen to him. But at the end of the day, it ended up being not a good race for him like I thought. So I got the prediction wrong. And then Joey Logano was just off today. There was one point early in stage 3, he had a good restart. He got up to about 5th place, and then he went right back outside the top 10 again. I don't even think he scored any stage points today. I'd have to go back and look if he scored any stage points. I don't think he scored any stage points today. I guess I can look at it. He scored 4. Okay, so Logano scored 4 stage points today. And he finished 14th. Ouch. That's not good. That is definitely not deserving of a must-have race. Stage points, give it what you will, but he finished 14th. That's the big thing. And so I would say I went 1 for 2 this week on my must-have predictions, which puts me at 3-5 this year through the first 3 races on the must-have predictions. I'll turn it around eventually. I know I will. I'm smart enough with this sport. I'll turn it around eventually. Early season struggles, it's a new car. So be it. On to the sleeper picks. I had Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick. I didn't do so hot with the must-have predictions, but I will say, with the sleeper predictions, nailed them both. Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, they both had top 10s. Bell wasn't looking like he was going to get a top 10 today, considering the issue he had towards the end of stage 2 when he spun on his own. Flat spotted his tires. He never really ran back in the top 10 after that, but that final restart, he somehow got up to 10th. With that being said, he got the top 10 like I predicted. He did run there most of the day prior to that. He scored stage points in stage 1. And in stage number 2, he did not score stage points because he spun from 2nd late in the stage. But he did finish 10th. Tyler Reddick, he didn't score any stage points. He was outside the top 10 pretty much all day until probably the final 50 laps. Right before that final green flag stop, or the green flag stop in the final stage, he had gotten up to about 8th or 9th. And he ended up pretty much running back half of the top 10 the rest of the day and finished 7th. So he turned it around in the final stage. They got something clicked correctly on that car. They were not as fast as they were in practice nor in qualifying. So maybe the car was a little more in the trimmed out portion. We kind of saw that with a lot of drivers that qualified up towards the front were struggling early once they lost that track position especially. Even Larson was back to 10th in stage 1. The car was maybe more on the trimmed outside. honestly thought Logano was going to win today. I thought he would be a better pick. Honestly, I mean, I had him on the must-have pick. He just ran bad. The Fords in general were bad today. They had a lot of bad luck, except for Eric Almirola. He finished 6th. And even Almirola wasn't running well. He was outside the top 10 all day. He just got the 6th on that last restart. Kevin Harvick had a pretty solid day. I mean, he was in the top 10 most of the... He started at the back, so stage 1 he didn't run well. But then by beginning of stage 2, middle of the race, he was pretty much 7th to 10th. But then that final restart, he fell back to 12th. Which is not a bad day for Harvick. Not as good as what it once was, though. So, yeah, Reddick 7th, Bell 10th. I'm 3-5 total this year on the must-have predictions, but the sleeper predictions, the dark horse predictions, I'm now 4-2. I was 2-2 going into the week. I was 2 for 2 this weekend. Nailed them both with Bell and Reddick. On to the don't have list. I had Kurt Busch, Eric Almirola. Kurt Busch was faster than what I thought he would be. He got up in the top 10 early in stage 1. He never really ran back inside the top 10 after that. He was kind of between 11th and 15th most of the rest of the day, and he finished there. He finished 13th. So I was right with Kurt Busch. He didn't get a top 10. And I mean, he ran there briefly, but that was about it. So I will say I was right with Kurt Busch. I was wrong with Eric Almirola. He's 3 for 3, ladies and gentlemen. He has finished in the top 10 the first 3 races now. He finished 6th today. It looked like all day I was right on Almirola. I was pretty much right all day until that final restart. He somehow got to 6th. I don't even know where he restarted, but he was outside the top 10. Except for that one time he stayed out of the pits. Or no, he didn't stay out. He took fuel only. That was the only time I saw him inside the top 10 all day until he finished 6th somehow. So I guess I was wrong with that prediction as well. So pretty even for the most part with my predictions this week. I think I was 3-3 total between the must-have, the sleeper, and the don't-haves. So 3-3 total this weekend. I'm lacking with my must-have predictions this year. I'm 3-3 with the don't-have predictions, 3-5 with the must-haves, but the sleeper picks is where I've been on it this year. I'm 4-2. So that's kind of where I said. Still no race winners predicted correctly either. Kevin Harvick is going to win every race from now on. I don't know about that. All right, on to fantasy. On to the fantasy portion. Let's get the screen capture on once again. All right, so on to the fantasy portion of the post-race analysis video on the channel. You'll get to take a look at my team and my predictions, and we'll go from there. Had all my sleeper picks, all my must-have picks in the lineup this week. I wanted to listen to my own advice unlike the week before. And Austin Cindric was also on my team this week as well, who I didn't really talk about in the pre-race, but he qualified well. He's had a good start to the season. I figured the Fords would be faster than what they were today, so I was like, let me throw Cindric in there too. That's probably somebody I'm not going to use a whole lot the rest of the year, so why not? So Christopher Bell, hey, he ended up getting a top 10 at the end. Not bad. Kyle Larson had a great day, finished 2nd, 13 stage points. Pretty good there. Tyler Reddick, not great in the stages, but he still finished top 10, finished 7th. Good day there. Austin Cindric did not run well. Was involved in an incident. Even though he qualified 3rd, I don't even think, no stage points. He pretty much fell outside the top 10 very quickly and ran outside the top 10 all day. Joey Logano ran outside the top 10 most of the day, especially in the middle portion of the race. He was still able to get 4 stage points, but not a good finish for him. So of the 5 in my lineup, 3 of them were good. The other 2, not so much. Blaney was in my garage. I started the day with Cindric in my garage, but because Blaney had wrecked out early, I took him out. Cindric outscored him by 14. So at least I was able to have my worst driver in my garage for the first time all season this week because I was at home for the race. As far as the bonus points go, I had Kyle Larson beating Elliott. He was my pick to win, so obviously I was going to have him ahead of Elliott. He did finish ahead of him. I had Logano ahead of Kyle Busch because, I thought the Fords were going to do better today. Busch had to start at the back with a backup car. Well, Kyle Busch overestimated what I thought would happen. Tyler Reddick has been super strong at the very start of the year, so I had him running ahead of Byron. I thought Byron could have had a good day, and he did. He finished 5th, Reddick 7th, so just missed that one. And Austin Dillon outran Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch was on my don't haves list, so that's why I put Dillon ahead. And I was right with that prediction on the fantasy side of things. So now let's take a look at the league. And we'll take a look first at Las Vegas, see who was the top scorer. Inside Uranus, top scorer again this week, 224 points, just like he did at the Daytona 500. And he was your winner by 23 points. Justin Haley fan finishes in second with 201. EC23, that's Ethan, scored 198 this week. The Plow V3 ends up finishing with 197 in fourth. And then Tim Irvin, Super B-Man 1, ends up rounding out the top 5 this week. I was 12th. I don't know what I'm doing this year. Fantasy, I don't know. I just don't know. I didn't have a league the first year on the channel. We had one last year. And I was like top 3 most of the season. But this year, I think I finished 9th or worse every single week. And this week, better in points, but in comparison to everybody else, not so good. So definitely starting off behind the 8 ball early on. We'll take a look at the overall standings. Inside Uranus, of course, is the leader. He's won 2 of the first 3 races so far this season. And he currently has a 48-point lead over the Plow V3. Dark Crypto currently sits in 3rd with 340 points total. He was not in the top 5 this week, so he fell behind a little bit points-wise. EC23 is in 4th with 332 points, and then 1 is in 318 by himself in 5th. I am 13th, right where I finished this week with 281. Ouch. That is bad. So a little over 20 people playing in the league this year. You can join by going to the NASCAR fantasy portion, or go to the fantasy portion of either the NASCAR app or website. Click on it, sign up with your email, search for KRC. You see it right here, KRC, and all caps, capital L on league. We got 24 members in the league as of right now, so appreciate all you guys playing on a weekly basis. Tony Schultz. And actually, I don't even think that those Las Vegas stats or the overall league I think the overall league standings you saw. No, those are updated. Okay, never mind. Well, they might not be. Yeah, you're right. Inside Uranus. I probably shouldn't have went to that. You're right. The overall standings are not updated. Inside Uranus could go wire to wire. Yeah, my bad on that one. The overall standings are not updated. We have to wait for post-race analysis. Sorry for that. I shouldn't waste my time with that then in the live streams for the post-race analysis going forward this year. Alex won, yeah. Alex Bowman won, Tony. See Westman in the chat as well. Won't let you sign up. I don't know why not. Should let you. Felt bad for Bubba. Glad he didn't plow through Jones. Yeah, that would have been a nasty hit. All good. Look at Fox Sports. Yep, Alex Bowman was the winner. Oh, I just realized the display capture was still on. Any final thoughts on the race today before we get out of here for the rest of the night? We talked about the race in detail, but we didn't talk about it like the miniature parts in extreme detail, probably because there was just so much. There's so many cautions, so many spins, it's hard to just keep track of every little bit. Overall, I thought it was a good race, personally. I'd say of the 3 races so far this year, it's probably number 3. But honestly, it doesn't mean it was a bad race, because I don't think it was a bad race by any means. And it was above average. It was a good race. It was a good race. We're 3 for 3, NASCAR. And we actually had a green flag pit stop in this race. I didn't think we were going to get to that point, but the final stage played out like a legitimate race. We had a green flag stop. We had a couple longer green flag runs on the final stage. Still ended up with an overtime restart, so a little bit of both. Strong showing for the Hendrick Motorsports team. Yeah, they're picking up right where they left off last season. Cody Ware didn't finish 13 laps down. Congrats to him. Yeah, I saw Corey LaJoie finish 15th. Good run for him. He was like 17th to 20th most of the day. Solid, I guess. Much better than the 550 mile and a halfers. Agree with you. Anybody see Christopher Bell's post-qualifying interview after he got the pole yesterday? He immediately, they were like, they were talking about, oh, it's your first career pole. I think Regan Smith interviewed him, and he was like, yeah, this qualifying session's a lot more fun than the 550 package. He just dissed it right away. Didn't waste any time. I laughed pretty hard when I saw that. I didn't see it live, but I saw the replay of his interview. I was at work yesterday, so I missed practice and qualifying. And the start of the Xfinity race. Runs like that, Cody Ware will become the next Larson. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I've noticed, publicly I don't bash on Cody Ware like you guys in the chat do, but, at least on streams and stuff, but at the same time, Cody Ware, like, he was bad before, but the 550 package, I think, kind of saved him. Like, he would run bad, but it wasn't as bad. This, I think he's just trying not to wreck the car with the parts shortage, and he knows that he probably has a lack of talent, or at least a lack of confidence in himself, to run this car 100% of the time, like a normal race car driver. And I think he's just kind of putt-putting around there, just trying to keep the fenders on it. And because he is running really, really slow. Like, really slow off the pace. Seeing what else you guys have. Chastain looked strong. Yeah, he did. Chastain definitely impressed today. He didn't qualify well at all. I think he started... It was between 17th and 20th. I can't remember if he was row 9 or row 10, but he was well outside the top 10 in qualifying. Practice, he was outside the top 10. In the race, he looked good. I mean, I think he led the most laps. That's 3 races we have had this season where the driver who led the most laps did not win. 3 of them. I don't know if he had the best car, considering Kyle Busch came from the back multiple times and was up where he was at the end. Kyle Larson at the end really looked fast, the way he went from the back to 6th in that final run before the caution. Bowman was looking fast at the very end as well. He ran down Chastain on that final run, and they were battling for 3rd before Eric Jones had wrecked. It was, honestly, even to the checker flag, now that the checker flag has fallen, I don't know who had the fastest car today. I really don't. At spurts, it was Chastain. At spurts, it was Kyle Busch. Truex looked like he was contending with Busch there for a little bit at the end. Maybe he was faster than him, who knows. Early on, Bowman won stage 1. He looked good. Hamlin was looking really fast. I mean, like, you cannot pinpoint who had the fastest car today. You really can't. There were probably 5 or 6 drivers that had a car capable of winning this race today, and it was pretty even between those 5 or 6. Which is what the next gen car is going to bring. Especially early on before teams start to get the car and the tracks figured out. Their setups with the car at each track. That is going to round this one out. Thank you so much for all your support today. The predictions, the post-race. most importantly, during the live stream, during the actual race commentary itself. We had over 400 people watching that live stream. We'll be back at it again tomorrow with another live stream at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. NASCAR 21 Ignition at Kansas. We'll be doing a full race live commentary, realistic commentary there. And we will be doing the live commentary, post-race, and predictions as well, all being live streamed next Sunday at Phoenix, just like we did this Sunday at Las Vegas. Again, appreciate the support from you guys. I'll see you tomorrow at 6. We'll also have a race highlight video with my commentary, with the actual footage of NASCAR on Fox's race from today as well. Not sure how long that video is going to be. There was a lot of action today, so that video is probably going to take me a while to edit. But nevertheless, I will have it out for you guys sometime tomorrow. Thank you. See you guys next time.